Hey everyone! We had 39th anniversary of Bon Jovi band on the 14th of March, so in this video I'd like to make a super short summary of their story from the early 80s until now. Jon Bon Jovi needs to get together a band, so he calls for a keyboardist, his friend from high school, David Bryan, and soon also a drummer Tico Torres and the bassist Alec John Such join a band. Right, but they need a guitarist. Alec John Such calls for his friend from the previous band called Message, and that was how Richie Sambora joined the band. So they got the full lineup, and now what? So our boys released their first album with John's hit song Runaway. They also focus on the Japanese tour, as in Japan they were literally idolized, so right there they could wait out the hard time they had in the US fighting their way to become a famous band. The second Bon Jovi album, written and recorded really quickly. The boys are back on tour. Since this year their lives have never been the same. They took over the world with Slippery When Wet. After an exhausting Slippery When Wet tour, they get back to writing and recording to show the world that they can do much better than Slippery. A couple of months later, New Jersey gets released. Workaholic John presses the band to go to another world tour, during of which they, for example, performed in the USSR, as New Jersey was the first American album that was released in the USSR. But they basically bit off more than they could chew. At the end of the tour they literally hate each other and they really need a break. John gets depressed as he thinks that Bon Jovi is falling apart. He also works on his solo album and he releases Blaze of Glory in 1990. Richie and Dave pursue their solo careers as well, but they don't become that famous. Before Keep the Faith era, our boys decided to lay it on the line and together figure out why they had almost fallen apart. Through Keep the Faith they sort of started all over again. In 1994, Richie marries Heather Locklear and Alec walks away from the band. It was supposedly because other members didn't like his approach, as he didn't really care about practicing. Also, Bon Jovi released their first best-of album called Crossroad. There are two new songs, Always, that became a worldwide hit, and Someday I'll Be Saturday Night, which was inspired by Soul Asylum's Runaway Train. These days, quite a melancholic one, I'd say. Also, the epic concert in Wembley 1995 takes place. Soon John focuses on his acting career and his second solo album. Destination Anywhere, which was inspired by John's role in The Leading Man, for which he had to leave the US for some time and live in London, which was quite a special experience for him. A year later, Rich releases his second solo album, Undiscovered Soul. With completely different sound and image, the band comes into a brand new Jovi era. With the Crash album, they literally won the hearts of the new generation of teenage Bon Jovi fans. Soon John plays in Ally McBeal in the break between Crash and Bounce. Unfortunately, the next album wasn't as appreciated as the previous one, although the best known song from Bounce is Every Day. Bon Jovi released their box set, 100 Million Bon Jovi Fans Can't Be Wrong. It consists of some unreleased tracks from the previous albums. The iconic Smirky era, Bon Jovi released Have a Nice Day. Richie dates Denise Richards, who was supposedly distracting him from the music, and John didn't like it at all. We got a country rock album here, Lost Highway. Also this year Richie divorces Heather Locklear. The band releases The Circle, and the movie about Bon Jovi, When We Were Beautiful, has its premiere. What about now? Well, Richie leaves the band for some unknown reasons, and John gets depressed as Richie has always been his best friend. Bon Jovi released This House Is Not For Sale, finally clearly coping with the absence of the famous guitarist in the band. He is replaced by Phil Xenides. After 4 years of being together, Richie and Orianthi released their album Radio Free America, and soon they break up. Bon Jovi released the album 2020, which was supposed to talk about the current issues in the world. But soon it turns out that there's much more to talk about than they thought before. That's why Do What You Can, which previously was not planned, becomes a single. So here was a very short summary of this amazing story of this amazing band. I know there is much more to talk about, but if I wanted to mention everything, it would take an hour, if not more. Anyway, let me know what you think about it in the comments below. I will be really grateful for some subscriptions and likes, and I guess that's all for today, so thank you for watching and see you again soon.